Get out of the car now. Two men in official-looking security uniforms blocked my wife's sedan near the community lake. Their uniforms looked like real police. Their stance was aggressive, and the way they surrounded the car screamed ambush. My wife, Juliana, realized in a heartbeat that this wasn't a routine check. It was a pre-planned trap. When the first one pulled out a set of heavy-duty zip ties, she had exactly 3 seconds to decide, surrender or fight back. What happened next turned a harmless inspection into a life-or-death battle, exposing a dark conspiracy within our HOA that reached levels of corruption we never thought possible. Stick around, because this story involves a fake security force, a GPS tracker, and a board chairwoman who thought she was untouchable. I'm Marcus, and my wife Juliana is a veteran and an attorney. We live in Maplewood Estates, a quiet ranch development built around a beautiful lake. Everything was perfect until Vivian Thornfield took over as HOA chairwoman. Vivian didn't just enforce rules, she manufactured them. The nightmare began at a routine HOA meeting in the clubhouse. Vivian stood at the podium, her steel-gray hair in a severe bun. "Tonight," she announced, "we are implementing enhanced patrol protocols for lake access." Behind her stood two strangers, one heavy-set with nervous eyes, the other with a rigid military posture. They weren't residents, they were predators cataloging faces. Juliana stood up. "Vivian, California Civil Code Section 1500 limits HOA enforcement. You can't authorize vehicle stops without statutory backing. Furthermore, those uniforms mimic law enforcement, which is a violation of Penal Code 538D. The room went silent. Vivian's smile didn't waver, but her eyes turned cold. "Mrs. Cross," she said, dripping with contempt, "our legal counsel has approved this. These officers operate under full authority." As we left, I caught the heavy-set man photographing our license plate. My own military background screamed that we were being targeted. The harassment started exactly 72 hours later. A citation for parking at a 14-degree angle, a fine for irrigation timing that didn't exist in the bylaws. Each notice was signed by a deputy security officer. Juliana spread them on the table. "Marcus, look at the timestamps. 2:37 a.m., 4:15 a.m. This is round-the-clock surveillance." Then the black patrol vehicle appeared, a generic SUV with fake community security decals. It followed Juliana to work. It sat outside our house at dinner. On Friday, Juliana found professional-grade boot prints in the mud directly under our kitchen window. Whoever was watching us wanted to hear our private conversations. But it got worse. Juliana checked her car and found a small electronic device magnetically attached to the rear bumper, a GPS tracker. "This isn't security," Juliana whispered. "This is criminal stalking." The following Tuesday, Juliana went for her solo run on the lakeside trail. It was a beautiful afternoon, but the trail narrowed between the lake and a pine grove, a perfect tactical bottleneck. Suddenly, the black SUV blocked the path. Reed and Drake, the two men from the meeting, stepped out. "Routine compliance check," Reed barked. "We need to see your ID and lake usage permit." Juliana knew the law. "I'm not required to provide ID for trail usage. I'm continuing my run." As she tried to pass, Drake lunged for her arm. Reed reached for his belt and pulled out those zip ties. In their minds, they were about to kidnap a lone jogger under the guise of HOA rules. They had no idea they were attacking a trained combat veteran. Drake grabbed her wrist, but Juliana used his own momentum, pivoting and sending him stumbling toward the water's edge. Reed fumbled for a replica airsoft pistol, trying to use the threat of a firearm to force compliance. "Drop the weapon," Juliana commanded. Reed didn't listen. In 45 seconds of blurred motion, Juliana neutralized them both. She delivered a palm strike to Reed's solar plexus, sending the fake gun flying into the lake. When Drake swung a collapsible baton at her, she stepped inside his reach and used a joint manipulation that forced him to the gravel, yelping in pain. She didn't just stop them. She used their own zip ties to secure their hands behind their backs. "You have the right to remain silent," she told them as they lay in the dirt. Reed gasped. "You don't understand. This comes from the top. We're just doing our jobs." It was the confession we needed. While waiting for the real police, Reed's phone buzzed on the ground. A text message appeared on the lock screen. Status report. V needs confirmation of compliance. V for Vivian. When the real sheriff's deputies arrived, the security officers were arrested for assault, battery, false imprisonment, and impersonating peace officers. But the investigation didn't stop there. A search of Vivian Thornfield's office revealed that the enhanced patrol program was a front. She had used HOA funds to hire disgraced ex-cons to harass residents she viewed as threats to her power. She was also using the GPS trackers to monitor residents' habits so she could coordinate burglaries when homes were empty. Vivian was indicted on multiple felony counts of conspiracy and embezzlement. The security force was dismantled, and the Maplewood Estates board was completely replaced. Today, the lake is actually peaceful again. No black SUVs, no fake badges, and no midnight trackers. Juliana still runs that trail every afternoon, but now she's the one the bullies are afraid of. How far has your HOA gone to enforce the rules? Have you ever felt like you were being watched in your own neighborhood? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this story of justice, hit the like button and subscribe for more real-life HOA drama. Thanks for watching.